Aquaman has a unique place in our hearts who love watching superhero films. But it's also true that everyone loves watching Timothy Chalamet screen, right? What if we tell you that Timothy Chalamet is part of the latest Aquaman 3 movie? Yes, you heard that right. We have a lot more to share about Aquaman 3, and we're going to do so in this video. So stay with us until the end of the video to find out what you'll see in Aquaman 3. So let's get started. James Wan, the great director of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, has been dropping big hints about an Aquaman 3 that might happen. Wan said that the ending of the Lost Kingdom sets the stage for another exciting journey for Aquaman at a special event where the trailer was shown. He's not just hinting, he's almost giving us a sneak peek. Wan made it clear that Jason Momoa's journey as Aquaman is not over yet. There are still lots of stories to tell and new problems to solve. However, the interesting part is that Timothy Chalamet might be joining Aquaman 3 as a bad guy. Chalamet has shown how good an actor he is in many parts, and it would be exciting to see him go up against Momoa's Aquaman. Our hero goes in a new way in the movie. The size is not always bigger, but there's a clear path for a story to take. It was a bit confusing because Momoa did not want to give away too much. After all, it has to do with how the movie ends. In an interview, James Wan talked about some interesting things about the movie. He talked a lot about how important it is for characters to grow in the story. Wan says it's a big deal that Arthur Curry went from being a wandering hero to someone with a better goal. In the Lost Kingdom, Arthur gets back on track and learns more about his job. We can build on this development to tell stories in the future. Wan made it clear that this character growth is not just making the story more interesting right now, it's also setting up Aquaman's future adventures. The stories about Arthur can get more interesting and complicated as he grows and changes. You made a good point about how Arthur changes in the Aquaman flicks. In the first one, Arthur is more of a nomad who doesn't know where he belongs in the world. He is beginning to understand things by the end of the second movie. He knows what he wants to do with his life better now. If there's going to be a third movie, it should be about this. Think about it. The third Aquaman movie could go into the personalities even more. A lot of interesting story points were set up in the second movie that can be looked into further. Even though we don't have specific stories just yet, the main goal should be to keep making these personalities better. You'll be seeing Arthur, Mira, and the rest of the crew take on new tasks that will test them and help them grow even more. It's exciting for Aquaman fans that the third movie will build on the characters and ideas from the Lost Kingdom. Building on what we have seen so far is what it's all about. We are going back to the amazing underwater world of Atlantis in Aquaman 3. Arthur Curry, aka Aquaman, may be in for a really exciting story this time. He has the strong trident in his hand and is ready for anything. But there's a big surprise. The Black Manta is back and wants to get even. The movie clip makes it look like Black Manta wants to hurt Arthur's family. If they stick to the plot from the comics, this could be a very important turning point. Black Manta kills Aquaman's son in one of the comic books, which is a very bad thing to do. Do you believe that? The movie is going to be very emotional and powerful if it keeps going this way. James Wan loves giving Arthur tough problems to solve so that he can grow. Aquaman will have to deal with a very sad loss, which will make for a strong story. In his role as Aquaman, Arthur Curry has always been a brave hero who faces his problems head-on. The movie might show a more complex side of him, as he deals with loss and the need for justice. Black Manta, on the other hand, is a bad guy who never gives up, and he hates Aquaman. This fight could lead to epic battles and dramatic times under the water. The Lost Kingdom is the last book in the old DC Extended Universe. Aquaman 3 will start in the new DC Universe, and it might even be part of DC Elseworlds, a series that looks at different timelines and plots. With this change, the movie can rethink Arthur Curry's part and make it clear how this new Aquaman is different from the last one. James Gunn, who is a big part of the new DC Universe, has said that Jason Momoa might keep playing Aquaman. This means that Aquaman 3 might bring new stories and ideas to the series, which would make it more interesting. Some people also think that Timothy Chalamet might join the group as a younger version of the dead king. This idea makes people more interested, and makes them wonder what the movie might be about. The creative team is thinking about how to make the last part of the trilogy stand out and fit together with the others. Putting Chalamet in a major part is an interesting idea. Chalamet could give the franchise a new and exciting energy. He's known for giving complex performances and having the charm of a young guy. A strong bad guy called the Dead King is what they want him to play. Because his powers are linked to a trident, the Dead King would be a great choice. This fits nicely with the theme set in the first two Aquaman movies. Adding a bad guy like the Dead King, who also uses a trident, would make the story of the three books flow together better. This theme connection would give the story a sense of flow and unity. By adding a bad guy with a similar symbolic tool, the last movie would not only have a thrilling ending, but it would also connect to things that happened in the earlier movies. It would give us a satisfying ending by connecting the main ideas and character arcs from the earlier movies. This method makes sure that the trilogy ends on a high note, with the hero and his final enemy having a strong and important bond. The movie starts with a huge, earth-shattering event. We see a big quake that sinks the city of San Diego into the water. From the beginning, it looks like a terrible natural disaster, but as the story goes on, it becomes clear that the Dead King was behind it all. Right from the start, this sets a serious tone and shows how scary our new bad guy is. The opening scene not only uses stunning CGI effects to make an exciting show, but it also makes things much more dangerous for our heroes. What we see when San Diego goes under the water shows us how big the battle that's about to happen will be. The grandeur of the pictures helps set the scene for a story with big fights and very powerful moments. But this is not just about flashy graphics. The introduction of the Dead King is a great chance to learn more about the rich legend of Atlantis. This bad guy is not just a new one, he has a lot to do with the past and myths of Atlantis. His goals are based on old grudges and a desire for power, which makes his purpose very different from Arthur Curry's. Our hero Arthur wants to bring peace and togetherness to his people and the rest of the DC universe. This clash of ideas is what gives the movie its real emotional depth. The conflict between the Dead King's need to rule and Arthur's duty to protect his people could become the movie's main plot. It's not just action and special effects, it also looks at things like legacy, forgiveness, and what happens when you have a lot of power. In this way, the movie tells a story that has value beyond the screen. Leonardo DiCaprio once told Timothy Chalamet that he shouldn't play superheroes early in his career, but the fact that he's opening to interesting projects shows he's not afraid to take on something as big as this. Since James Gunn is taking the DC universe in new directions, some people think that Chalamet might finally become a superhero, though he might play a different famous character. This could be a big step toward his job in Hollywood. All of this makes us wonder what will happen with Aquaman 3 in the DC universe. Are you excited to see Timothy Chalamet in Aquaman 3? What else do you expect from this movie? Do share with us in the comments section below. If you enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.